All right, so we got all that out of the way here, and we're going to bring on our guest. And his name is Daniel Moeller, and he has a a comic book up right now on crowdfunder, and it's Psychonaut 5. I think it's the 5th issue of that series. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. And well, he can tell us more about that. I'll just bring the man on himself, and he can talk about everything. Daniel, welcome to the show, sir. Hello.
Hey, Lorenzo. Hi, Phil.
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on. So, tell us about your Kickstarter. Well, first, the most important thing, the crowdfunder, excuse me, and eventually about the history of all the books that you've published several books. Am I correct on that?
Yeah. So, Psychonaut 5 is really the name of the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually publishing 2 books with it. So, I have 2 series under my Psychonaut Comics banner. It's Psychonaut Presents, kind of like Marvel Comics Presents, which is an anthology-based comic. And then Simon Myth Chronicles, The Broken Chalice is the 2nd series. And I've got 4 issues that I did in each series, and now I'm releasing number 5 of each series at the same time. Because I finished them at the same time. So I decided this might be a fun jumping on point for people and a way to just kind of like really up the ante on my Psychonaut brand. So I'm releasing them at the same time. I'm using the crowdfunder as a way to not just raise funds to get them printed, but really to network, reach out to people, and just, start to generate a community of people around the work. So yeah, 2 series actually at the same time. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
And your art and story for both?
Yeah, I do the writing, I do all the art, everything for both of them. And so the 2 series are the Psychonaut Presents series, and if you scroll down, you'll see pictures of them. I'll start with the Simon Myth since you're getting there first. So Simon Myth is mainly my fiction series about a modern day wizard that works for basically a department in the government that regulates magic. And so what's happened right now is the universe has kind of gone awry. Things have happened that have caused all these astral anomalies to bleed into our reality. And Simon and his crew here have to go around and fix those anomalies. And so something really big is happening in the story. I don't want to give too many spoilers that really kind of drudges up the past for Simon. And this issue in particular really dives deep into that past a little bit more. So it's kind of a good jumping on point for people that want to start with this issue and also get, the previous 4 issues, because it's kind of, it's going to keep going, but it's kind of like a good chapter point in these first 5 issues. The cover of this issue is actually, if anybody's a fan of the Smashing Pumpkins, if you look to the left there, that's actually a famous photo of the Smashing Pumpkins from their Melancholy era that I kind of swiped and mocked up for the cover of that issue.
Oh, really?
And so yeah, and then the next issue is Psychonaut Presents. Psychonaut Presents is kind of an anthology, but most of the parts of the anthology are memoirs of my experiences that I've had with the paranormal, but also with psychedelics and ritual experiences that I've had using psychedelics, like in Peru and other places across the planet. So there are some fiction stories in there, but it's all mostly memoir type comic, kind of done in a sort of Robert Crumb sort of style.
Neat.
So yeah, I'm on issue 5 of that. So the entire crowdfunder, like, you can just get 1 issue or you can get both, but then you can also get the entire collection of Simon Myth or get the entire collection of Psychonaut, as well as just get the entire library if you want. And so there's numerous tiers, and each one of these comics has all sorts of contributions from different artists, including Matt Lesniewski, if you know Matt Lesniewski at all. Ken Landgraf of New York City Outlaws fame. and numerous other independent artists across the board. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like getting pinups for people to do, concept art of my different characters and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Very cool.
I just dropped the link in chat also, folks, if you want to
Oh, thank you.
go take a look there. I'm curious, and I'm being a smartass. Do the writer side of you and the artist side of you always get along, and how do you solve conflicts?
I've never had an issue. I also write novels and nonfiction books as well, and I've just never had any kind of issue making those two pieces work. When I was really young, I remember I started out as an artist, and I remember reading an article. I think it was in Wizard magazine way back in the day, and I can't remember who it was, but somebody was being interviewed, and they said the smartest thing any artist can do is to go take creative writing courses, learn how to write, learn how to tell a story. That's how you tell good comics, not just making good pictures.
Story beats.
But that sequential narrative. And so I immediately tagged onto that as a young'un and was just like, well, I got to be a writer too, and studied writing and got into literature. And so that the two pieces are a complete whole for me. So
Smart man. Yeah, it all comes from the writing. I mean, many times I sit down like, damn, where am I going to go with this? I mean, I want to draw, but I don't have a script to go from. You got to write first, you dummy. So that's what happened first before anything is done.
Yeah. Well, my writing process is kind of weird too, because the way that I write, I kind of thumbnail while I write as well. So if anybody ever looked at my writing notepad, it's just full of images and shapes, and things aren't just like so I'm kind of building everything visually anyway as I get it all out. So it's just.
Are you doing that on paper? Are you doing that on a tablet? How do you prefer to work?
Pure notebook paper and pen and pencil, just like old school. I don't really do too much on the computer except for coloring, and of course formatting and things like that. But pretty much everything else, all my materials are by hand. Yeah.
Okay. Traditionally.
I try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to use, nubs and brushes and stuff, but now that just gets, I'm 47 and it's just like, okay, come on, enough with the ink files and stuff. So mostly like microns and things like that now, but
love microns.
Still doing it by hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a 50-50 guy. I'm more like 60-40, I guess. I do more digital than I do traditional, but I miss the traditional when I'm just doing digital, and sometimes I get I miss the iPad when I'm doing too much drawing. The lack of cleanup with the iPad is great. Like, okay, just close it up and it's done. There's no paint or no ink to be put away and stuff like that. But
that's true. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have a tablet for coloring, because the coloring process for me has always been really hard. And I'm actually I don't consider myself a good colorist. When I was in art school, I actually literally failed painting because I didn't understand volume and how colors complement each other. So it's helpful to do it digitally, so I can like show my wife and be like, honey, is this correct? And she's like, okay, or nope, go back to the drawing board, and I could quickly correct my mistakes. So.
We're kindred spirits in that aspect. Coloring is my least favorite part because I'm not good at it too. And it's like, if I could afford to pay a colorist, I would do it. But when you're a one-man band, you got to do everything yourself. You do what you can.
For real.
Oh,
is there a favorite and least favorite part of the business aspect of publishing like this that you have?
Gosh, favorite and least favorite business aspect.
Feel free to vent if you want.
I mean, so I'm normally a person that is just truly in it for the creation aspect of it, and I've been very quiet about promoting myself in the past and being involved in community, and so but I don't know, just something has kind of changed in me the past couple of years, and I thought once I get to this number 5 milestone, I need to start like being my own business person instead of just putting it out on print on demand and then whatever. It's time to start not just like promoing for the sake of sell my work, but I want to build a community. You know, I want to start networking with other communities across the nation, and it feels like that all of us as like, you know, in the indie circuit, you know, could just, you know, hopefully we have like a stronger network as we build and grow this industry together. So I'm kind of new to the business aspect of all this. I kind of feel like I'm just like dipping my toe in the water, even though I've been making comics for, you know, quite a few years, but I just, you know, I'm not really sure how to handle it all. I publish books through Llewellyn Worldwide. They're a esoteric paranormal publisher, and I write books for them. And they always handle all of this side. So it's like, you know, trying, like having to be my own publicist is a very, very new thing for me. But I mean, it's interesting. It's fun. I was scared to do it, as all, you know, introverts are at first, but I like meeting new people as well. So it's cool.
Have you had an Artist Alley booth?
Yeah. I've done Planet Comic-Con here in Kansas City. And a couple of years ago, I did that and a few other of the local conventions that weren't Planet Comic-Con, and got to know a few people. And then just, you know, I ran out of stock and I don't make a ton of money.
Oh, darn.
With these books. So that's kind of what my plan is for this, is not just that I want to sell these books. I want to make enough money that I can get a good stock again and start attending conventions and fairs again. And I kind of don't want to just hit only the comic circuit, because my material bleeds over into kind of like the paranormal and occult circles, as well as like the psychedelia, new agey, whatever. I want to start going to those fairs and conventions as well. And there was something that I remember Jim Rugg saying in an interview before a few years ago about how we need to not only just cater to the comic industry itself, but comics can be sold anywhere. Comic fans can be anywhere. It's a medium. It's not a genre. So, you know, get your books into libraries, you know, get your books, you know, wherever you can get them. And that really inspired me to try to kind of branch out into other communities as well.
That's nice.
Nice. I have to tell you, I am so curious about your psychic experience and your psychedelic experiences. Could you tell us a little bit about that, or can you speak on that?
Well, I've always been interested in that sort of stuff. And my wife and I have been to Peru, and I have a strong interest in like indigenous mysticism and spirituality, and also just like the occult. And there were quite a few years that I actually sought out some individual like medicine carriers or you know, shamanic priests in different indigenous communities to just ask to partake in ceremonies, and also even for training to just, you know, learn, you know, those ways. And my series Psychonaut Presents has a few of those experiences. There are a couple of experiences with in there regarding my relationship with ayahuasca, which is a shamanic medicine that's used in the Amazon, as well as San Pedro, which is used in the Peruvian Andes. And so it kind of details some of my ritual experiences with that. And yeah, very mind-blowing, very eye-opening and life-changing, and also not something to do every single day.
That's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, and I also, you know, just was very interested in the occult, and have, you know, found local circles, you know, in the community that facilitate ritualized experiences. And for a while, really got deep into the mystical Kabbalah, and I wrote a book on that for Llewellyn. And I also wrote a book on some of my shamanic experiences for Llewellyn. And it's just always been a very, you know, integral part of my life, but doesn't like 100% define me. And so, yeah.
So the ayahuasca thing, that's where you sit around, you sit in, I guess, and drink this solution, and it causes hallucinations. Is there anything you can tell us about that without spoiling anything in the books, from your personal experience that is weird about?
Yeah. So ayahuasca is a word that literally means vine of the dead, and so it is a brew that's actually a mix of two different plants together from the Amazon rainforest. That when brewed together, they facilitate a very specific experience. And I guess you could call it hallucination. I mean, it definitely, like, reality completely changes, and it can be very severe for some people. It can be very hard on the body, and oftentimes will lead to purging, vomiting, diarrhea to rid the body of toxins. And usually is done in an all-night ceremony at night. You typically want to do it under the facilitation of an indigenous elder who's schooled in, facilitating these sorts of things. And it's just life-changing. It destroys and kills and shreds the ego and the personality framework, and really allows you to kind of, face yourself and look in the mirror and walk away, hopefully more of a whole person. And the other medicine that I highlight in the series is San Pedro, which is it's from the Andes and in the highlands of the Andes, and it's a mescaline base, so it's a lot like peyote in northern Native America. So it's very similar to that. It's a cactus, and I actually have a lot more experience with that and a lot more of affinity for that one because it's not as extreme as ayahuasca. But also it is just accompanied with beautiful ritualized experiences that that the traditions have carried on for thousands of years. And so it's a little bit more subtle, and it's a little bit more easier to kind of work with people one-on-one directly. Like when you're on ayahuasca, sometimes you're just out, right? Like there very little interaction that the facilitator, that the curandero or ayahuasquero has to have with you. But with San Pedro, I mean, you're still alert enough that they're interacting with you and they're facilitating all of these like crazy healing experiences with rattles and all kinds of other stuff. And it's so wildly stimulating and interesting. And both of those ceremonies done usually at night as well. And just incredible stuff. So I hope that my series doesn't like make light of it. I'm not trying to like, dramatize it. I'm really trying to like show an honoring experience of it, but also just kind of have like that little bit of like underground comics sort of vibe at the same time, because that's kind of my style,
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. So in issue 5 is interesting because issue 5, I kind of go back to my childhood and I start kind of retelling some of the paranormal experiences that I had as a very young child that kind of led to my interest in all of this stuff in the supernatural and whatnot. So it's less about psychedelia, although it's still in that vein, but I'm trying to kind of go back and trace it all together and like, weave it all to kind of understand. The whole series is kind of my attempt to really understand my own experiences. So there's no resolution to it. I don't know where it's going to go. I'm trying to figure it out as I go.
Well, the word came to mind, and then I went back to your description. The word memoir, I think, it sounds very fitting, and yet it allows you to explore artistically, along the way, right? So,
yeah.
So it's not traditional storytelling. I can't ask you, do you have the next 3 issues plotted out?
Well, I mean, I do in the sense that I have the things outlined that I want to address and cover. But with Psychonaut Presents, it's a little different than my Simon Myth book, because my Simon Myth book is pure fiction. I've got it all plotted out. It's scripted in a very different way. Psychonaut Presents is I have a brief outline and then I get to the page and the page just guides me. I use my drawing table as kind of like my spiritual altar, and I'm like, all right, like move me, like how is this going to come out? So that just drives itself really. So the Psychonaut's in charge there. I have no say.
Now, since you've experienced both of those, the ayahuasca and the San Pedro, is that correct? San
Yes,
Pedro?
yes, sir.
Do you ever draw back or reach back onto those clearly to do these books? But when you're creating, you use that as kind of a like, remember when that happened, and I can kind of go back to that place, and that helps you. As you probably just said that in that last statement, but I'm just like, confirming that this is how one of the techniques that you use in your creation. That's
Very much so. Those spirit experiences are very visceral with the human body. So it's a hard memory, which is why the term hallucination is sometimes, people don't use that term because it kind of implies you're just seeing something, that's not there. But these are like real lived experiences in my body where I had a lot of transformation and change. So just like any real experience, like, thinking on when my child was born or whatever, or it's like, I do just kind of start reliving that in my brain and just start living that force kind of drive. So, yeah.
Wow. That sounds both fascinating and frightening. I would like to I think I would be more interested in doing the San Pedro. It's a little bit more under control. You don't need an actual handler, it seems like, to do ayahuasca, right? So it's like, looking out for you.
Yeah, I mean, either one, I think I always think any kind of psychedelic experience needs to be done in a ritualized setting where the medicine is done in kind of its traditional context of the culture that it comes from. And, working with it in that way, because these medicines have like certain intelligences to them, and there's a language that these ritual experiences have that augments the experience more fully than if somebody just like drinks the tea in their living room or whatever.
Okay. A lot different than just like popping a couple of shrooms and watching the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a whole different deal than that.
Totally
All right.
different experience.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there was, so I remember the first time I walked into a San Pedro ceremony, I was terrified. I was like almost vomiting because I was so scared to just lose my mind, or whatever. And the curandero told me, it's like, it's good that you're afraid because that you're going to change. You're going to have a real experience. It's good that you have that fear, like embrace it, walk into it. Cause you don't want to have this experience and not have it change you. Then why else are you doing it? You're not going to just like watch a movie or a show, like you're going to change. So yeah. And I was like, okay, yeah. So it's not like really a legit psychedelic experience unless you're terrified to do it.
Well, I'm curious.
It's like skydiving.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, wow, that sounds fascinating as hell. Wow. And another completely different note. What made you choose crowdfunder as your crowdsourcing work?
Yeah. So I looked around. One reason is that a lot of my indie creator friends told me that Kickstarter was on strike right now, and that there's been some people have had some issues getting things ordered and move forward. I don't know the details of that, but the one thing I didn't like about Kickstarter was you have to reach your goal or it's not funded at all.
All or nothing. Yeah.
And my book's already made. I just need to get them printed to people. Mm-hmm. So I wanted an option, and Crowdfunder has an option that, like, if you don't reach your goal, whatever, you already paid me, so you're going to get your books, right? So even if like only a few people buy into it, they're still going to get their books. But I wanted to do this kind of option, a crowdfunding option, because I did want to set kind of an arbitrary goal for myself, a modest goal, $1,000. But my goal is to just print stock. So if I can use this campaign as a driver to meet new people like you all, to, generate a fan base, and by fan base, I really mean community of people I want to talk to. I want to talk to people about my books. I want to have conversations. And then, if I can even exceed that goal, then awesome. Let's go for it. Let's do it. So, anybody who's already bought into the campaign, who's contributed, and I'm really thankful for those that have, they'll get their books regardless whether I make the goal or not. So
nice. Is it kind of like Indiegogo in that aspect? Is that even still around, Indiegogo?
I think Indiegogo is still around, but I think it is a little bit like that. I liked Crowdfunder because they really try to cater to the indie circuit, and more so than any other platform. Crowdfunder has actually reached out to me, and they're going to actually help with some promotion. So they're very open, completely. They just consider it part of their service to work with creators to even help with a little bit of promo. They're going to interview me, put me on their podcast. They've already, done some social media posts about my crowdfunder, and they're also going to generate a blog post over it. So, I mean, that's cool stuff that I haven't really seen anywhere else, unless you pay more into it or whatever. And I thought that was just a really cool thing. So I like it. I like the underdog aspect of Crowdfunder. It's not as big, and yeah. So it was easy to use too. Some of the other platforms I tried, the interface was a little like frustrating to get to, and this was like I put it together in just a matter of like an hour or so. So it was really easy to use.
Wow, that sounds interesting. I might want to use that myself. I was looking for something to crowdfund. I was kind of scared of Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and is less known. So I don't know. This seemed like a pretty good medium for indie creators.
I would try it. The great thing about this too, as opposed to Kickstarter, is Kickstarter you have to log every product you have, and then you build those products into tiers. It's a really weird setup, and it has to be done in that kind of structured way. Here, you just throw in the tiers and you can put whatever you want in it. And the reason why I like that is because it kind of makes it flexible for the contributors. For instance, I had a person contribute who could only contribute a certain amount, but he already had the books on that particular amount of tier. And so he was like, but can I trade this for that and everything? I was like, well, sure, let's do that. Just contribute what you can. And yeah, we'll just trade out and I'll just make a note. And so Crowdfunder has that flexibility, whereas Kickstarter, everything gets logged of whatever those specific items are in that tier. So that's another aspect of this I really liked a lot.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to pick up these, the Psychonaut books for sure. I'll probably get all the rest of them as well. They sound interesting. But I'm dying to hear what happens in those experiences and with the characters and with you and all that. So these are all the books right here, the complete library.
Yep.
That's like the top tier, so to speak, right there to get to.
That is not the most top. If you scroll down a little bit more, there is another tier where you get the complete library, but you can also get a black and white drawing custom from me, whatever you want. It doesn't have to be my character. It can be your characters. It could be Spider-Man. It doesn't matter. And then there's a reality changing mages tier, which is not only will you get a drawing, if you scroll down a little bit further, it is a full color drawing as well.
Okay. I should go back to the other page.
Didn't that? There you go.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yep. So you'll get a drawing by me, but also I'll color it.
Oh, nice.
Which is a process. So it'll be a full color.
Wow.
So that's the reality changing mages tier.
Good. Very nice. Great work, sir.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
Yeah, let me know if you do try crowdfunder. I mean, well, let me know so I can buy your stuff, but also like let me know what you think of it for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have I always ask all the creators this, what inspired you to be a comic book creator? Or did you read a certain book when you were younger, or did you get into it later in life?
No, it was actually something I always wanted to be when I was young. I from the first time I picked up a comic book, I mean, I don't even remember the age. It was something it always drove me. Circumstances happened. I did go through art school, and then I got married, children, and had to find a different way to actually pay the mortgage, you know. And so I kind of put it on the table for a while, but about 5 or 6 years ago, and really it was some of my experiences with psychedelics, you know, kind of just was like, Daniel, what are you doing, man? This stuff feeds your soul, so do it. So, and my wife kicked me in the butt and like said, what are you doing sitting around? So yeah, I just started doing it and I haven't stopped. So.
And I would say too, there's a lot of creators I've seen out there at cons or on shows such as this. They don't have libraries of that reach issue 5. So the fact that you've got 2 titles just kind of just demonstrates right off the bat to folks that you've got some experience under your belt. You're not just some fly by night hoping to make it. You've got something to show. So
yeah, I mean, you topped my production my entire life in a couple of years. That's impressive. That's very impressive.
Well, it's been building up for a long time. It's
okay.
I've been a powder keg ready to burst.
Give me some ayahuasca and get going here. It's awesome.
I know who you can talk to.
I got a guy. Well, man, Daniel, thank you so much for joining us. Before we let you go, is there anything else you want to highlight or talk about before?
Not really. I just really appreciate you guys having me on. I appreciate anybody that at least just jumps onto the crowdfunder page and give it a shot. There's a fun video you can watch on it too, and that hopefully will make you laugh and at least just come and have a good time.
And you said you're in the Kansas City area, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Ooh, okay. Also in the Midwest.
Yeah, Midwestern boy.
Yeah, me too. I'm from Chicago, so feels in Michigan.
Yeah,
I know, man.
Love Chicago. I love that town.
It's a fun city. I've spent most of my life there, but we moved out here, so here we are in the rain, in the darkness now. But it's fun. All right, man. Daniel, thanks so much. We got the link in the chat there. The link is going to be in the description of this video once we finish it, and I'm probably going to pick up that whole big that library there because I am so intrigued by the stuff you're talking about here, man.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Hey, great work, sir. And go out there and get this book, folks. This is amazing. So, and when you get something else, you know, after this, get with me and we can come back on, and you can come back on and we can talk about that too.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Yes, absolutely. Have a good evening.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up.